Hello, everybody. So, I have a pretty interesting idea for today. I had this idea while playing Sonic Frontiers that if Amy, Knuckles, and Tails merged with the respective Titans they were trapped with, what kind of design would they look like? So today I'm going to be merging Amy, Tails, and Knuckles with respectively Giganto, Knight, and Wyvern. Let's get started. So first up is Giganto Amy. I have to confess to you guys that Giganto is a girl. Yes, Sonic has beaten up a lady. That Sonic! You might be wondering how this happened in the first place. Every time I actually design a new form for a character, I add lore and tell you what happened. I'm not really sure how Amy, Tails, and Knuckles merged with the Titans, but I do know that there is a culprit behind it. The culprit actually merged Amy, Tails, and Knuckles with the Titans, giving them new gigantic super forms, and Sonic is like, the culprit said that these forms are permanent, but Sonic was able to fix them and turn all three of them back to normal in the end. I talked with Cassie, and I thought meanwhile that the Titans are actually possessing Amy, Knuckles, and Tails, and they're all respectively in their bodies, while they themselves have been merged with their bodies. I am using an Amy reference from the actual official website. Please don't be mad at me. This is just for fun and I'm not trying to claim this as my own. So, about her design. I decided to give Amy some black eye makeup that represents the Titan color. And I decided to give her a bodysuit that shows her legs and has some shoulder pads resembling Giganto's buff-looking arms. Like, I have never seen a lady, or by any means a female Sonic character with those types of fluffy arms. I'm also giving her boots to represent Giganto's long legs, and a hammer later on that will help Amy to fight. You'll see what I mean later. Time to move on to the coloring. So for Amy's colors, I decided to keep her skin and her fur, the pink and the tan respectively. Normal, I left that alone. But I decided I'm going to make Amy's eyes lifeless and turn them red, imitating that she's being controlled by the culprit and that she's technically stealing Giganto's stuff. Man, Phoebe was the only dog thief here. As you can see, I decided to give her no hammer. I decided instead to give her a crown resembling Giganto's front portion, her mouth. And I decided to give her a cape. And I was struggling with the line art, but that's fine. So aside from her fur and her eyes, the rest actually fell in place very good. Her shoes and boots are black, her eyeshadow is gray, her cape is gray, and her crown is silver. Plus, I was thinking in my head as a little joke that maybe Tails, Knuckles, and Amy are actually pretty pure. You know? Amy is pure Giganto, Knuckles is pure Wyvern, and Tails is Cure Knight. So, after a lot of struggling, which I edited out off camera, here's Giganto Amy. Next up, we have Wyvern Knuckles. And this is crazy to say, but doesn't Wyvern look pretty similar to the Kratos from Pac-Man or the Ghostly Adventures? I saw the similarities and they look very real. Anyway, I decided to remove Knuckles' legs and take place for a dragon-like tail, similar to Wyvern. Plus, to mimic Wyvern's head, how he has those two things in the front, I gave Knuckles a headpiece that represents Wyvern's head, like that goes over his two front dreads. Then I gave Knuckles similar shaped hands to Wyvern. They're pretty big, just like Wyvern's big old gigantic Atreus claws. And later off camera, I added some red tentacles to between Wyvern's red tentacles. While I'm on the subject, I have an idea. So, my idea is that I'm going to make a webcomic with these fusions exclusively to my DeviantArt account, and it will take place during the event of my Christmas comic that I'm doing this year, and they will be posted simultaneously. Like, one day I will post a Chaotix Christmas, and the second day I will post this webcomic called Sonic Frontiers 2 Return of the Titans. And as you can see there, I was thinking about giving Knuckles a cape, but I decided not to give him the cape in favor of the tentacles, which you will see very, very shortly once you get to the coloring. Now we're moving on to the coloring. Just like I did with Giganto Amy, I'm keeping his original colors, but for his tail, I'm going to make it fade into black to represent Wyvern. I'm also, just like Amy and Tails later on, I'm going to give Knuckles' eyes red, just like Amy, and I decided to make his claw hands and his headpiece silver. I was experimenting with his skin tone because I kind of see Knuckles as like a black character by giving him a darker skin tone, but I just realized that won't be a good idea. Like, I didn't think about it too much experimenting at the time, and I decided not to give him the tan skin. But I am going to draw all three of them in their Titan forms later. And I think I might give him the brown tanned skin, in which you'll see later. And with a few more tweaks, Wyvern Knuckles is complete. Last but not least, we have Night Tails. I'm gonna make this very clear. I'm going to reference the Titan as the Knight, okay? Because I think this sounds better than just Knight. I thought Tails, it was going to be the most challenging super form, but it fell into place pretty easily. First of all, I gave Tails 2 extra tails to represent the 2 legs the forelegs that the knight actually has. Then I gave Tails roller skates because the knight can roll around easily on skates. Then I decided, because he's a knight in shining armor, I gave him an armor-like chest plate. To represent the knight's face, I gave Tails a half mask that cuts in the front of his face. Plus, I decided to give him his shield on his right arm. I was going to add his sword in, but I decided to put it in as one of his finished illustrations, so you'll see that later. If you want to know who is responsible and who is the knucklehead that was guilty and responsible for turning Tails, Knuckles, and Amy into giant cyborgs, well, you're probably gonna have to wait until you read the comic. I promise I might get it out if it doesn't get canceled, but you'll figure it out in the near future. Okay, now it's time for the coloring. I decided to make Tails' tip of his tail black to represent that he's been turned into a cyborg. Just like Amy and Knuckles, I also gave him the dead-looking eyes. I made his mask white with a red line through the middle. I made his wheels glow red, his roller skates black, his armor plate black, his gloves white, his shield black, and his armband black. Just everything that is black is metal, representing a cyborg. Then I just made his fur normally yellow and kept his fur white. And with a few adjustments, Night Tails is done. These fusion designs were very fun to do, so I decided to do finished illustrations for all three of them. I thought this was so fun. Thank you all for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!